Are we on? Okay, it's a little after 5:30, so let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome everyone to our skate park input session. In fact, I think this is the last one.
That's correct.
So please be liberal with your opinions and questions so you can get all of your questions answered. You can get all your input to Tito Parada, Byron Hubbard with the Platform Group. If you all don't know them, they are a part of the design construction group that will be building the skate park. So we are very fortunate to have them here with us this evening. They came, when was it, a couple months ago, a few months ago? July. Oh, yeah, it has been some time. So they were last with us in July and made a presentation at that time and solicited your input and took all of your feedback and kind of incorporated that into some design improvements, if you will, and want to do that again this final time, but also let you all know or let you all see what they've done with your input. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge Councilman Hanna. He's here with us, and you all know he's been a leading voice for getting this skate park brought to fruition, and so we are happy to have him with us and happy to have the support of all of our city council members. I should have said this in the beginning, but my name is Sidney Evering, a city administrator. We also have our interim assistant city administrator, Teresa Williams, with us, and John Same, who's our public works director, who's been an integral part of this project. So with that, I will turn it over to Tito and Byron and let you all get on with your presentation. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to introduce yourself as far as like your background and stuff, Byron?
Yeah, I can do that. Thank you, Tito. So my name's Byron Hubbard. I'm a landscape architect, born and raised in St. Augustine, Florida. And so I definitely come from the Southeast, and I've been working in this profession for the last 14 years, focused predominantly on resort-style amenity areas, multifamily, park spaces, micro-housing kind of units, things like that. And I've also, I started skating in the 90s after my older brother got me into it, and fortunately, Tito and I had crossed paths and have been, good friends and partners ever since.
Awesome. Thank you, Byron. My name's Tito Parada. For those of you that have not met me, I've been skateboarding since 1985. I am a little bit further south. I'm from Puerto Rico, but I came to Florida in the 80s. Then I started skateboarding, and everything became awesome since then. But I've been designing and building skate parks for over 20-something years. I won't go that further. I worked with a company called Team Paint Skate Parks for 17 years. I founded and helped this other company named Pivot Customs. And then a few years ago, I got with my friends, Ryan Clements, Rob Marinick, and then Byron, and we started a Platform Group just because we felt like the skateboard industry and skateboarding demographics were not being fully represented in municipal skate parks, and that's why we're here, to kind of honor some of the demographics that need some honoring. Hello, welcome. Come on in. There's a sign-in sheet. Please sign in and make yourself at home. Thank you for attending. So we're just doing introductions. And then, Byron, I'll let you introduce our favorite engineer.
Yes. So Herb is with Johnson. I'm probably going to mess this up, but LeShober and Associates. Nice. And yeah, Herb is definitely an integral part to the team. He's in the background, but he's definitely making sure that everything's running smoothly. He's helping with the permitting side of things, and just making sure that everything kind of runs smooth. And then as well as City of Orangeburg, they're definitely a huge integral part to that too. So definitely want to thank them.
All right, Byron.
So to kick things off, we wanted to start with So just progress since the last meeting, just to kind of bring you guys up to speed. It has been a little while, but we've definitely been working to sort of facilitate certain things. We had the design input meeting, collected the technical general input, and then conducted the online survey, got all your responses back, and started to put that towards the redesign. As while we were looking at those certain things, oh, I do want to say this, the survey results of that, you can actually go online to that link that's written up there, platformgroup43.com, Orangeburg survey results. That'll actually show you all the comments that were made, things that people wanted to see in the park, and not just the skate park, but the surrounding area around it.
And there's a hyperlink on the there's a synopsis of where on the survey, and there's a hyperlink right there for that as well. So if you go to the survey page of platformgroup43.com/Orangeburg.
Yeah. Outside of the general input meeting that we had last time, we started to get more into the site and saw that there were some boundary requirements that we needed to adhere to, as well as starting to study the soils to just make sure that when we go to put this park, that it's actually going to be able to be built on the soil that's out there. So we were working through a lot of that stuff, had a geotech engineer come out, give us a report, give us some recommendations on what they were finding.
Geotech is basically a survey for what's underneath the ground. So like if you're looking at the ground like a lasagna, there's, it tells you what, if this is able to hold this facility for the long term so that you guys don't have headaches. And working with Herb and stuff, that's the type of survey that he allows, helps us understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they actually dug down, I think, down to 15 feet, I think, in some of the spots. So outside of trying to make sure that the site is good, the park sits on the site well, we can build on top of the site, the other thing that, I guess just from there, this is what we have as an updated design. So taking all that input and then studying the site. Let's see. All right, so the site. I realized last time didn't give a good explanation of where this actually sits in the city of Orangeburg, so I wanted to kind of run through a few slides. So to the west of the site, we have this north fork of the Edisto River. From there, you can see we've got John C. Calhoun Drive, that's on the north side of the site, Glover Street on the south, Andrew Dibble Street, which runs through the site, and then there's the city landing boat ramp that might give some people a good bearing. Hey, welcome. Let's see. So some of those boundary requirements that I was talking about, right now on the site, there's a floodway that, and I'll try to describe this as coherently as I can. Where you see this blue line and then everything sort of west of that, that is it's a floodway, and you can't necessarily build in that area. You can't really do anything vertically. You can do things horizontally, but the concern is that if you start building things vertically, that starts to take up space. So any stormwater or anything that kind of comes into that area, you're now kind of consuming that volume. So that is one thing, and this is done by national level floodway maps. So that was one area that we were like, hey, we can't really step into that. We can't even really grade into that. So we needed to make sure that the park could stay on the east side of that line. And then the other item is the road boundary line, which is that magenta. That was another item that we needed to kind of stay out of, just to make sure that there weren't any concerns with the roadway and tripping up any kind of requirements there.
So from a skate park design perspective, you got to understand we're getting sandwiched, because you can't get any more simple than that. But to us, it's actually a blessing, because in street skating, we have this municipal bad habit of creating these square skate parks, right? But we want linear. So it's actually, we saw the positive on it, and we went forward with it. Sorry, Byron, just wanted to explain that.
No, I appreciate that. And so this image here just kind of shows all those layers together, and now you can kind of see where that park sits, especially adjacent to the boat ramp and sort of the parking lot area that we're trying to propose as we go to construct this park. And then so these next few slides are just to kind of break down the different features and spaces of this park. So we've got a street section, the mini ramp and bowl section, and then the pump track. And, you know, intermixed into that, there's connections north to south, sidewalks. There's landscaping to kind of help define space, create, you know, an enjoyable setting, not just for the skaters, but then just for people that are walking and enjoying the site. Yeah, you want to?
You know, one of the things we took, you know, aside, you know, inspiration was obviously, you know, the Edisto, the gardens just on the other side of the road, and like all the beautiful landscaping that you guys have. So we took that inspiration into the park. We feel a lot of parks, a lot of municipalities stop at the boundary of the skatable areas. So it's like, if you call it a court, you're done right there, and then there's nothing. And we feel like that's an injustice. I mean, we all have friends, we all want to hang out, we want to take a break outside of the park and not step on dirt, right? So we went outside of those lines and really kind of created, you know, good line of sight, circulation, and really create a plaza vibe with some good landscaping. We're probably going to tone down some of the landscaping you're going to see down a little bit to not compete with the memorial pine trees that are on one side and also some of the already existing vegetation that's there. And also just to kind of like, you know, have money to build a skate park, right? And so, so just, you know, just wanted to let you know that you're going to see a lot of art and stuff, but, you know, going forward, I want to encourage you guys, any creative stuff, like hold it on to your head, and on the Q&A, let us know.
Thanks, Tito.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we can go ahead and play the video. So we put this together, again, just to kind of give you, it's always hard to kind of discern from a 2D drawing, so the video just gives you a nice fly through.
Sound?
No, we were going to play it without that.
Okay.
So I'm going to wait till it gets in. So again, to talk to what Tito made the point of, like, you know, this is in the city of Orangeburg, so we want to provide things that speak back to that. So not just the skate park signage, but the mural on the back of the bank towards the south end of the park. If there's any other thoughts you have, those could be good suggestions or opportunities to throw in the survey of, hey, you know, I think a sculpture here, you know, just things that help you think back to the city of Orangeburg. And like Tito said, a lot of the landscape shown just to kind of help give a sense of space. But we definitely don't want to compete with some of the existing vegetation out there, especially the trees he was talking about. On the east side of the roadway, they're freedom trees. There's a sign there that actually talks about it, and they were installed in
1974, 49 years ago.
Yeah. So
here's the pump track, and on one side, and you can see the linear aspects of it. We're probably going to talk about toning the elevations on the pump track down a little bit, but I mean, this park is just screaming special, you know, and unique. So we really want to hear your opinion and hope you like it, so we can build up upon this design onto the construction.
awesome. That should be the end. All right, if we want to go back to the
presentation.
yeah. Thank you. Let's see. So the next set of images that we're going to see, we're just starting to dive into more detail of the park and the design. We can kind of run through these pretty quickly, but these will give you a sense of, you know, again, zooming into the mural on the back of the bank there. The signage for the park, some of the walkways that kind of connect along Andrew Dibble Street, and then here's there's just a number of views that we'll run through. I don't know if you want to talk to any of some.
Yeah, guys. Also, like, and for we have some fellow skateboarders and other action sports enthusiasts here, so feel free, like, to, you know, either take notes or just raise your hand if you have any requests. One thing I want to talk about is, you know, originally on the first meeting, you guys wanted to replicate a hubba that was in town. It's in the college, right? And it's pretty narrow. So in skate parks, we kind of want to go a little wider for user friendliness. So it's really hard to actually literally replicate, because we want to replicate something that's going to get used. So instead, we're just gonna have just 2 standard hubas. We did put 2 different ones, so I'd like towards the end to get your opinion on what size hubba you prefer, more something like on the left or on the right, because we're gonna mirror both. So that way, we have some symmetry. Because, skateboarding, some people are right foot forward, some people are left foot forward. So we kind of want to offer some symmetry here and there. Not everywhere, but here and there, and especially on a feature like that, that's going to be important for events and stuff.
I think another thing to point out here too, so again, going back to the landscape, we're definitely going to be cognizant of shade, because that's like a huge thing that, not even here, but definitely, South Florida, we hear that comment all the time. So we have a few shade structures too that we're trying to locate in the park that'll at least immediately give shade. But then we'll definitely be thinking about where we're going to try and place certain trees, to provide that as well.
Yeah. That right there on the right, that's a brick base bank to kind of get that street feel with the bank to ledge. Those are what we call blended features. There's many ways to skate that. You can skate it like a 2-block from the deck over the bank. The face of that on the right by the left hubba, it's angled a little bit, so you can kind of wally off of it. If you're a badass, you can slappy it maybe. So long ledges, extra wide, going above the 2 foot, possibly the 3 foot, extra long. It's also friendly for adaptive skaters and stuff because they have that time to think. Even blind skaters skate and they use the stick and they have that time to think before they engage. And street skaters just love a long ledge, so let's just give it to them. So that's just what you see there. And obviously, manual pads, elongated stairs, just some creative stuff to allow the skaters to engage.
I think another thing too with the brick that also kind of repeats material that's included downtown here in Orangeburg, so that's a tie back to the city. So it's just thinking about materials that kind of, again, speak about sense of place. The other thing too, the colored concrete, a lot of times that deals with glare, but it also just helps break up a large expanse of concrete and just provides interest on the park, a little bit more pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, and you see that puppy from Google Earth, and it looks pretty cool. Just to talk about the features, super long banks. You see that kicker. Welcome. Before you leave, make sure you sign in. But let's join the meeting right now. Thank you for coming. Long rails. You can actually skate those up or down. We call those driveway banks. You have a kicker, and the bank's long enough that you can actually try tricks into the bank, and you're not gonna unless you want to blast the whole thing. Again, long ledges, basic 4-stair rails, long rails. If you look at the bank on the right, it actually kicks up a little bit on the right. On the left, it's just a regular longer bank. On and on.
Let's see, go on to the next one.
See that granite ledge on the right?
Yeah. Pyramid on the left.
Yeah, so we have a pyramid's kind of like that type of P-Rod, TF style pyramid. So you have a standard pyramid, then you have a really low flat rail kicker style pyramid. Kind of like a hybrid, kicker bank, mani pad, etc. And obviously some long ledges. And so much more.
And so much more. This is actually a pretty good shot too, just with the shade structure and just trying to keep it simple. We don't really want to take too much space up, but it is a good spot that you can kind of, leave a bag or just chill and hang out. The other thing too is the street trees. This starts to help define just entries to the park. It's a little bit of landscape architecture. But here, we're now starting to go into where the mini ramp and the bowl are. Here's just a quick plan view of that. Again, locating another shade structure that's in between the pump track and the mini ramp.
So mini ramp, we're talking, a lot of bowls out there that people make bowls tend to be for a lot of the builders, super deep and all that. Trying to make simple, 4.5 foot mini ramp, steel coping, user friendly, not too tight. We'd rather you learn how to do a 5-0 to fakie for 20 feet than to sit there and just scratch or grind. You know, we want people to progress. Long escalators, maybe like, you know, so they're not too steep, so you can actually engage them. You can even axle stall on them without feeling like you're gonna slip out. And then down to a 3.5 foot, you know, sections for the little guys, or even just to progress from tricks to tricks. So we feel like that's a missing thing right now. Every time people do bowls, they just kind of go wild, and then they do the opposite. Less and less people skate it. We want this to be a fun crossover feature, and we also want line of sight. We want to be able to like see in, make it safe, you know.
Make it safe.
Make it safe.
And then last feature, the pump track. The plan view here, I actually kind of want to stay on real quick, but again, so another tie to this, we talked about it earlier, but the Edisto Memorial Gardens are just to the north, so they're on the other side of, I think, 301. But that, you know, so your Rose Garden Festival, that was kind of like a big thing that we took inspiration to, and we wanted to sort of bring that to the south side of the park to make a stronger mental connection to those two spaces. And so, like, just on the other side of the pump track, just providing, you know, a space for like a rose garden to kind of flourish. And again, just providing interest, trying to repeat material with the brick, probably a decomposed granite kind of like pathway on the other side, stuff like that.
With enough buffer so you don't fall into the rose gardens. Trust me, because we don't want that.
No, there's going to be like 15 feet of nothing. Probably just sod. But again, it's just trying to create, like we were saying, we definitely want to provide a space for everybody to enjoy, so that it's not centered on just one demographic or one community. It's for the city of Orangeburg, so we want to try to accommodate, you know, everything. Do you want to talk about pump track?
Yeah. Well, actually, can you go back to one picture? You know, like these little you know, pockets of, you know, places to chill are also really important. You know, whether it's for a parent or just resting. So as you can see, some of the connections between the features have plenty of green space, potential for future shades, just to really make it a nice environment. Another thing I want to point out that's great work from Byron is we're also trying to minimize that big flat, you know, impervious slab. You know, we're trying to add to make sure, like, so this is like a good, healthy, you know, kind of garden-like experience. So it feels comfortable, not just like a burning pad of concrete, which no one likes, you know. So we wanted both. So, you know, good job.
Yeah, for sure. A few images of the pump track. And then, I mean, even so, the landscape boulders that you see here too, just opportunities for impromptu seating, things like that, you know. It's a little bit more of a natural aesthetic too, but you know, just trying to think about, you know.
Well, we add them strategically as well to kind of help some of the grades next to the slabs. So one of the things we try to do on our designs is we try to avoid that vertical concrete. You know, not to do, let's say, like I call them graffiti magnets. Not that graffiti's bad, but you know, here it's just not as welcome. But on the back walls, you know, instead of you know, we like to have grade going up to it, but sometimes when it's steep, we can use boulders and stuff like that to basically avoid maintenance headaches to the Public Works Department, so that, you know, this place stays beautiful for a long term. You know, and also, you know, because, you know, you have an event, this park is fully accessible in all angles. So and that's on purpose. We want to avoid those rails that are necessary because they're going to end up getting skated anyways or biked, you know. So let's just create a nice, comfortable, you know, landscape feature so you have full access. This also helps, believe it or not, adaptive, you know, and neurodivergent type aficionados or stakeholders, because sometimes, you know, you have some people that enjoy skating, and but they have a chaperone that needs access to them in case, you know, some episode happens, you know. So by creating a park like this, having long ledges, you know, it benefits the beauty and everything, and also makes it more welcoming. Skate parks are welcoming already, so let's just go ahead and add more people to it and just make it friendly for the entire sector of the citizens of Orangeburg and visitors alike.
Very well put.
Thank you.
I do appreciate that.
I try.
I So I guess now it's time for Q&A. Any questions, thoughts, ideas? You know?
All right, let me start with this.
Yeah.
Can I see a show of hands of who likes what they're seeing so far?
Love it.
Anybody not like it? Don't be afraid. All right, cool. Thank you. We're done. Bye. No, just kidding. I'm going to jump into some technical stuff, and I want to encourage everyone to, if you have something, you don't have to raise your hand. You can hit me up afterwards too, you know, or I'm easy, you know, at the end, but just make sure you catch me and let me know because this is your park. Yes, sir.
Tito, give him the mic.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. This is a blessing coming to not only Orangeburg, but to South Carolina. I'm looking for a rest, something to lean on after I exhaust myself for 20, something to lean on. Secondly, after I exhaust myself for 20 or 30 minutes, there's a little room I'm gonna be looking for. That's the restroom.
Thank you for that. Is that it? Because I love everything you said. Everything makes sense, and it's something we all want. So restrooms and place to also rest. I love it. Let's take inspiration on that. Anybody got anything else?
Hello, everyone. I'm Zion.
What's up, Zion?
All right. My question was, as far as drainage goes, when it rains, you know how like one day it'll rain, we can't skate, so the next day we come out, the water is still there. Is there any like allocation for that?
We definitely are going to be working with Herb on making sure that that does not happen. And I have an incredible track record of making sure these facilities, hey, we all get that 3 o'clock summer rain, and 15 minutes later, that thing better be dry. I know it's steamy and stuff, but that's temporary. But I 100% get it. And our whole thing is that the second it rains, it all drains out and it's ready to skate. Even on those 15-minute summer downpours that, you know, sometimes last an hour, sometimes it's 15 minutes. And then we're like, so we don't want you to go home. We want you to just wait for a little bit and get ready to skate after a little breaky break.
Sure.
Good question.
Hey everybody, I'm Roman. I know it's supposed to be like generally a skate park. You know, mostly skateboarders will be there. But how, I guess, casual and efficient it is for like, I guess, other people who might want to bring their rollerblades there. I know a lot of people I've been seeing talk about it. It's like half skateboarders and the other half like people who want to get into like other skate stuff. So how accessible is it for them if they do try to use this as an opportunity to try to get into skating?
Man, that is one of the most beautiful questions, in case you have more. So skate parks are called skate parks, but that's just an old thing. A lot of people call them wheel park. In fact, I would identify this park as a wheel park. It welcomes everyone. Non-motorized, even non-electrical. It's just physical type roller skating, roller blading, or aka inline skating, scooters, bikes, skateboards, absolutely welcome. That's important to us. Is that it? You got any more? All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anybody else have any questions, ideas? There you go.
Okay, I guess, is there any like anything else as far as like, I guess, how you said like we need like a good thing about restrooms and bathrooms and whatnot if you're tired. Is there anything like water fountains or anything going to be implemented, or is it like general, just come as you are? And
So currently, right now we don't, but because of this input, with bathrooms and water fountains and things like that, those are things to be considered. It might not happen on the first phase, but it could happen later. Those critical things are what we want to hear from you guys. You know, because I mean, I'm used to skating a mini ramp in the woods that someone built back in the day, and where you have to struggle to go to the restroom or drink any water, right? So we don't want that. We want a full facility here, and that has all these amenities. And so those are things that will be considered. So from this point, we go into kind of finalizing a lot of engineering and technical construction documentation, things like that, lighting, et cetera, et cetera. No one's mentioned lighting yet, but beat you to it. So all those things we want to take into account, and then it will be, and then we'll either, whatever we can do in this first phase, we'll deliver, and we'll take notes to hopefully complete all the amenities that are necessary to provide a beautiful park for the city, including those things. I did mention lighting because that's something we want to consider here. We know what happens when it's dark at 5 o'clock and you're getting off work at 5 o'clock ready to skate. You kind of need that lighting, right? That's a good time to skate sometimes too. Thank you so much. Killer questions. Anybody else? You good? Anyone in the municipality? Anyone? And thank you for the bathroom comment, because that was awesome. I brought the light comment because I just wanted to inject it in there too. We are planning on it. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yay. Can't just be the skaters talking. It's typically the other way.
Hi, my question is related to maintenance. So when it's built, how does the maintenance work in terms of inspections and cracks in concrete, that kind of thing? Absolutely.
Very good question. So at Platform, we have basically your basic warranty that we provide, as well as a maintenance procedure that Public Works and other departments will have access to in order to know what to look for and how to report any issues and things like that. On top of that, we'll advise on certain maintenance procedures based on that actually differ depending on the location of your park. For example, parks I have in Florida near the ocean have much stringent maintenance requirements at one little further inland, like here in Orangeburg, which is good for you guys. But the maintenance on a skate park is almost nothing. They say it's, the Tony Hawk Foundation likes to say it's 1% to 2% of the cost per year, but it's a lot less than that. Most of that cost really comes, it's the landscaping, changing the trash. You're gonna have a popular park. So a popular park requires things that are basic, which is a good thing. That means people are using your municipal facilities. That's our whole point of parks and recs, right? So that's where those costs go. Some maintenance things, I would call them more like improvements and things like that, like additions, do come later down the road, but it's basically the complete opposite of like a baseball field where you pay it at a certain amount and then through 15 years you're paying a lot more because you got to mow a lot of lawn and you got to water a lot of stuff. Skate parks are pay up front, set it and forget it. The trash, the landscaping is going to be your biggest expense. So that's one of the killer things about skate parks. You could leave it alone. And then there's other community organizations. Like we recently did a skate park, or I did a skate park under my previous company in Pensacola, underneath the interstate. Awesome park. Well, there's a national organization called Skatepark Respect that gets older people to just bring volunteers to come in and keep the park clean. Just kind of be, show examples and things like that. There's all kinds of organizations like that that will want to kind of partake on that. On top of that, there's just going to be other things like events and stuff like that that will be drawn in with, local shops. You don't have many here, if any at all, but you have, Charleston, you have Columbia, like Blue Tile and all those heads, and I guarantee this is going to be a magnet, especially the way we're building it, taking it to just making it really nice for like good street skating, adaptive, and other people outside of skateboarding, bikes, et cetera, et cetera. Great question. Yes, sir. Oh. Appreciate you.
Hey, I'm Sonny.
What's up, Sonny?
All right, so I know great progress is slow progress. We're all eager. Is there like an estimate date on when it's going to be here?
All right, so killer question. All those, remember when I was talking about the sandwiching? Those are challenges that sadly brought delays that we didn't anticipate. Thanks to Herb, he helped us out. you know, because it was hard for us from being from our state to navigate through those hurdles. But I feel we're on a good path right now, and we're trying to shoot for construction as soon as possible. So our next step is going to be construction documentation and kind of getting through some of the hurdles that we haven't even described that are below the ground, because it used to be like a dump site, and there's some uneven settlement. So you could have a big oak tree from 100 years ago that's decomposed, or you could have a brick wall in there. So we got to actually dig all that out and then we're going to do a little engineering marvel in there. But I've done that before. I feel comfortable about that process. And so, you know, those are challenges that we can take on so we can provide you an awesome facility. So as soon as we get through those hurdles, we're hoping what are we saying? 3 months? We're trying to build as soon as possible. So right now I can't give you an exact date, but it's speeding up now more than before. All those unknowns are known now. Thank goodness.
For sure.
Killer question, actually. Thank you so much. I love that. Slow progress is good progress. I wanted it faster too. Keep them coming, guys. I love this. You're from the news publication. You have any questions?
I guess I'd like to ask if you could elaborate a little bit more on the drawing of people from Charleston and Columbia. I wanted to ask what the, I guess, nearest similar kind of park to this scale you can think of in the area.
Sadly, you have, I think there's a park in Columbia, right? So, and is it pretty transition heavy or half and half? Charleston, sadly, is a pay-to-play park. Charleston County, I was the designer for that as well, by the way. But the skate community there fought for a free park. The county just they just didn't run it that way. It's just something about that, you know, that county. It's just the way they do, and they said it from the beginning, but the advocates tried. So it's not too popular. I know that there's some efforts in North Charleston. There's some efforts in Greensboro. There's some efforts in... Yeah, and then Charlotte too, some DIYs. So, you know, the good thing is the scene itself is starting to get really good on this, you know, kind of I-26, I-95 corridor. And it's I know we're connected with some industry people, and they're very happy that this is all coming through. Now, but the biggest complaint here that I found from the first meeting is that people have to leave town and stay in hotels in other places to go to events or just go skate and spend their money everywhere else. So the goal here is to create a community park that also brings people here to do something positive. So then people visit Orangeburg, they spend the money here, they stay in the hotels, and then they also skate, and they bring that diversity so that the community here doesn't have to leave, rather than people come to them. And that's a win-win-win for everyone. And that is the goal of these facilities. These facilities are typically unrecognized because the culture of Parks and Recs tends to kind of go steer to the ball sports. But the wheel sports or stuff and individual sports in general are very, very popular, but they don't have any associations or advocacy other than some old skater. And so that makes it difficult for cities, unless they're forward thinking, like Orangeburg, to provide facilities that actually impact a huge majority, a huge majority of this disenfranchised group. Not only do we have a skate park, we share it with other disciplines. So we talk about skateboarding and our demographics, but there's a whole demographic of roller skaters, the whole demographics of scooters. That's a huge one. And then there's like a bunch of, you know, bikers too. So they all share a facility. It's not like a traditional athletic facility where you have your own court for baseball, your own court for basketball, your own court for tennis. You know, we share it. So that's why we're just as social as we're sportsmanship, you know. So that's very important for the skate park. So Sorry for that elongated answer there.
Oh, just one more thing.
Please.
I'm not a skater, so I'm a little familiar. But how, I guess, is it commonplace for these skate parks to be designed with other, I guess, other skating in mind, with the roller skates, scooters, things like that?
We absolutely designed parks with everyone in mind. But the fact is, the biggest demographic of action sports is skateboarding. That's why events events are sponsored by big companies like Nike, Adidas, New Balance, Vans. You know, all that stuff goes. You know, the biggest demographic. You know, over skiing, snowboarding, everything that's considered action sports, even mountain biking, is skateboarding. That's why it is so attractive for marketers and attractive for events. And it's one of those for real that if you build it, they will come. And so, you know, so that's kind of where that's at. So when we talk about, you know, skate parks, the designs kind of deals with the ROI and the main user group, and but it definitely is influenced. We have a lot of bike partners that we talk to, and they influence a lot of stuff. Just to get technical here, we're talking about there was a contest in Huntington where they made a mock stair set. I forgot from where. Anyways, but they made them at 4 inches. So it looked like a big old stair set, but they were like, it was kind of like show. But then the biker, a friend of ours, Trey Jones, pro hey Trey. So anyways, you know, super awesome biker that's a friend of ours. He's like, man, I love that because we can actually ride up those stairs. I'm like, boom, thank you. We can work that out, you know, because they're not ADA steps, they're skate steps. So we can work that way, you know, and so those are little examples how we get influenced by other disciplines, and we take that into account. Same goes to say, like when we're talking with the blind gentleman that skates, telling us how he needs that time so he can focus with his, you know, his stick, you know, so he can engage the feature. He wants a ledge, not 8 feet, because he goes like that and he's already run out of it. And the thing is, it's like, so they want a 24-foot long ledge. Skaters also want a 24-foot long ledge. So it's like that actually have vision. So it's like awesome for everyone. So all those things influence forward-thinking progression. You got any more? Because these are good questions.
Right now.
All right. Anybody else? Kids, keep them coming, guys. All right. Well, I think we're doing pretty good. You came in late. Can we play the video for the general? Oh, we're playing it. What's up? You got any questions? I know you came in late. You can ask anything you want. I'm Tito, by the way. What's up? What's up, Jeremiah? Well, you just missed that question. Ask them. We're hoping to. I'm thinking the 3-month-ish thing, we'll have a good idea of where we're gonna be, and then we're gonna kind of tackle the funding. So we might, you know, we're trying to go to get, you know, as much of the skate park done, the technical stuff done, so that we can have an operating facility, you know, built hopefully winter, spring time. Hopefully, there's always unknowns that come about, but our goal is to go get on site as fast as possible. And we already dealt with enough delays that we already found those unknowns, and then we have a path to mitigate that. Yes, sir.
Is there anything we could do with like a hands-in, like an extra help, either with like funding or like construction that we could do? On our part?
Yes. What you can do first is make sure you tell every single community or any fellow skater, biker, roller skating chick or dude, anybody about the survey, and really give the input, because we want to show the city the true representation of this community, because the fact is us skaters are the opposite extreme of the municipal world, and we're trying to bridge that gap, and the city's trying to show you their investment on you. And so if we can spread the word and get true hard input on what you see here for the people that are not here, that's the first step. If the city has any other ideas, I'm sure they can also share. But that would be the best thing you can do, spread the word. And it doesn't matter if they're a state away, or as long as someone that's planning on visiting Orangeburg, we want to hear it. There's a there's a location spot that you put your zip code on, so it tells us who's close, who's nearby, but that's all important. Like I said, people visiting are just as important for this community park, because that allows you to kind of learn more stuff, see new styles, get inspired by other skaters. We want those tours to want to come to Orangeburg. We're going to have definitely marketing essence that's going to scream out Orangeburg. This is not a park that's going to disappear on Instagram. There's something that once you see it, you know that's the Orangeburg skate park. And so all those things are going to be, out there. The survey, any ideas you have, I get ideas 3 hours after I leave a place. The survey is going to allow you to throw any wild idea in there. Whether it's art, anything creative, anything abstract, don't hold back. Thank you.
Good. Are we good? So no more questions and everything?
Anybody else?
Going once, twice. All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I'm going
Appreciate
to throw it
all
back
the
to
comments.
Sydney here.
Yeah.
And Byron, too.
Yeah.
Byron, you want to?
I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciated all the comments. We don't do this a lot, and it just means a lot when we get good feedback and people, interested in their community and stuff. So
Let's give Tito and Byron a hand. Thank you all so much.
Let's give the city a hand for all this effort.
You guys do all the hard work. And let me thank you all for attending, those of you who are here in person and those who are attending virtually. Young man, I love what your question. What can you all do? That's not a question we get too often. Most people have the question, what can you do for me? But you ask what you can do. And I love that question because it shows buy-in and that you take this you want to be a part of this park and bringing it to fruition. And I really appreciate that sentiment and that attitude. But honestly, we are doing this for you and for the entire community. We want this skate park to be a place that people from age 2 to 82 can come out and enjoy. Like Tito alluded to, this is not just for skaters. This is for folks who want to participate in various ways. And we are hoping and expect it to be an attraction for Orangeburg. We want to attract folks from all over the country, really, and we want to do like our Parks and Rec director loves to say, Sean Taylor, it starts in parks, right, Sean? It starts in parks. We want this project to be catalytic in helping promote Orangeburg, helping it grow and prosper. And so this is a hugely important project that we're undertaking. But what I love so much about Platform Group, Byron and Tito, is that they take the time to listen, right? They not only listen, but they try to take your suggestions and incorporate it into the design. And for me, that goes a long way in hopefully making us all feel like it's our park and we had a part of its development. So these guys have been great to work with. You see the enthusiasm, the passion that they have for what they do. So I really appreciate what they bring to the table. Appreciate Herb and all his work. And we found some things there at Andrew Dibble that, as Byron and Tito alluded to, that we have to work around and work through. But his expertise is helping us to do that. John Sang, who's been an integral part of this and being at every meeting and helping us push this through. So this has been a total team effort, and we know Parks and Rec are going to be a big part of this as it comes on board. And we talked about maintenance and making sure that the park is well maintained for generations to come. So I will encourage y'all to continue to provide feedback and input. And until we cut the ribbon, it's still opportunity to get your opinions heard. So with that, I wish you a good night and thank you all for attending.